Hi guys, and today I've got for you the all new, brand new second generation Kia Niro. Now this is a very important car for Kia. It's their second biggest selling car here in the UK after the Sportage. In fact, with the previous car they sold 78,000 of them here previously. Now this one is a little bit bigger than the outgoing car. It's 65mm longer, 20mm wider, 10mm taller and 20mm longer in the wheelbase. So that should give it some more room. Now there will be an electric only version. In fact, the electric version was a huge seller with the older car. In fact, the e-Niro, as it was called before, was nearly 30% of the sales. That will come later. Today we'll be checking out the hybrid and the plug-in hybrid versions. Now this one is a hybrid version. Now both of those cars, the hybrid and the plug-in, feature a 1.6 litre petrol engine that drives the front wheels through a 6-speed dual clutch automatic with no reverse gear. Why no reverse gear? Well, because they get rid of the reverse gear and it saves over 2 kilograms by doing so. So it saves weight, plus they just use the electric motor to drive it backwards, and that way you get no emissions out of the tailpipe either, which is great if you're backing it onto your driveway and stuff like that. So talking of motors, the hybrid is paired with a 32 kilowatt motor. That's this one. That gives it a total of 139 brake horsepower and 265 newton meters of torque. And the plug-in is paired with a 62 kilowatt motor for a total of 180 brake horsepower and 265 newton meters of torque. The plug-in also has an electric only range of nearly 40 miles, depending on the car. For the performance, and I'll put these figures on the screen to make it easier for you, but it's 0 to 62 miles per hour acceleration in under 11 seconds for the hybrid and under 10 seconds for the plug-in. I'll put the exact figures on the speed. Top speed is about 100 miles per hour. Miles per gallon, you're talking over 64 miles per gallon for the hybrid and up to 106 grams per kilometer CO2 emissions. For the plug-in hybrid, the consumption is frankly ridiculous, and its emissions are less than yours after a Rogan Josh dinner. Prices for these start at just under £28,000 and they go to just a fraction under £40,000 at the top end. And there's 3 trim levels, so you get basically they're numbered, so you get 2, 3 and 4. This one is a 4. This is an HEV 4. And let's have a look at the styling of the car quickly, a quick walk around the car, and then we'll look at the practicality, we'll look at the rear space, what the front is like, and of course we'll take it for a drive. So this has obviously the trademark Kia tiger face graphic at the front, but this time it's extended that design into the fenders, as you can see here. And they say that this car has been created using the Opposites United design ethos. It focuses on the joy of reason. That's the design theme. Okay, yeah, alright, well, you know what, it looks cool, it stands out. And what's really interesting on this car, apart from, you know, the very interesting headlight arrangement, which I'll come back to in a minute, but if you look here, the C-pillar, this is quite extraordinary, because what they've done is it's almost like an air blade here. This is a bit of aero that's going on, because they actually, you can't see it on here, but they do actually channel air. You can just about make out there, look, see? They do actually channel air through here. So that improves the aerodynamic efficiency of this car. You've got to have that in a contrasting color, although it does remind me of the Audi R8, wouldn't you say? You've got to have that in a contrasting color. But at the front here, let's have another look at these headlights, because they're quite extraordinary. And they say something about a heartbeat or something in the daytime running lights. I don't know about all that, but they are very striking. They look pretty cool. So I do like these keys, and you can actually open the boot from the key fob. There you go, powered. Now the boot has 451 litres of space. Interesting to note that the plug-in hybrid actually has less. It has 348 litres of space, but this is the bigger boot, so this has the full amount of space. Under here, what do you get? Oh, quite a deep bin actually underneath there. compartments for your tire repair kit and all the rest of it. But actually quite a bit of space to stuff a few extra things if you need to, plus pockets on each side. You can actually remove this floor as well if you wanted to do that, so that's adjustable. There's pockets on each side, and then of course there are 60/40 split folding seats. This one is the plug-in. Right then, so here we are. Now, I've had to leave the car on because it's one of those cars where when you turn it off and you get out, the seat goes back, the driver's seat goes back to allow easy, getting out and getting in sort of thing. So in order to see what the actual space is like, I left it on. So this seat is now in my driving position. I'm 6'2" with long legs. And as you can see, I've got tons of room. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, look, tons of wiggle room for my feet, no issues down here, and loads of room here. So this is an interesting design though. I like that. That's quite interesting. Sort of like an ET's head, isn't it? Now, headroom, no issue whatsoever. Plenty of room for that. Plenty of elbow room, and actually pretty good seating position. I don't think the seats are adjustable. I am on a media drive, so there's limited time with the cars as usual. So I'll try and give you as much information as I can. And this is the center armrest with 2 cup holders. That's quite good. Isofix shell seats, anchor points. Now this is interesting. This trim. Now there's something about the interior of this car which I'll tell you a little bit more about when I get into the front. But overall, nice materials. I'll tell you what, the quality levels in Kias, it's quite extraordinary now. USB-C plug there on this seat on the side, and in fact on the driver's seat as well. So you've got 2 of those, plus you've got a power supply down there. It's actually a plug, and 2 vents in the back. So there is a lot of aspects of comfort for rear passengers in this car. It's something they've given a lot of thought to. What about the front? Have they given thought to that? Let's find out. I don't know if you saw that, but the seat moved back. So that's what I was saying about the seat moves forward and back. So when I sit in it and start it up, you'll see that it will move forward. In fact, when I'm sitting in this, I feel like really, look, it's moving now. See that? It actually has moved forward. So that's what I was talking about. So check this out. Look at this. Wow, what is that? That's a nice bit of design touch, isn't it? That sort of reflects the color on the outside, I reckon. Look at the interior trim. Look at the way this is finished. What an extraordinary thing. The starter button, it's a keyless start, obviously. Starter button is there. Let's see what it does when you press the starter button. Wow. Big old screen there, all digital. This is all digital across there. I guess this is 2 screens in one. These are all touch buttons, I guess. Nav, yeah. Radio, all the rest of it. Yeah. Oh, need to turn that off. So that's what that all does. So how do I go to, so home screen, that's also touch screen as well. Yeah, that's touch as well. And then you've got all of these facilities, Kia Live, quiet, what's quiet mode? Climate. Let's get some climate on in here because it is a warm day. So if I press auto, oh, that's nice. It's quietly started up there. Yeah, beginning to build up some sound. So that's also climate control there, volume. Down here you've got USB, a USB-C, and you've got, I think you've got wireless charging. Yes, you do. You have wireless charging here. You also have a power supply. There are lots of ways to charge stuff in this car. So you're not going to have to worry about that. And storage, that's quite a nice bin right there. What about a glove box? Oh, pretty decent sized glove box actually. That's quite good. As I said, starter button with quite a nice sort of textured surround there. Piano black here. You got heated seats and cool seats. I might turn the cool seats on. That's quite good. It is a hot day today. You got a camera. I wonder if I press that. Oh yeah, so that straight away goes to camera. So you don't even need to go into reverse gear. It just does that. Same, so actually that was the passenger side. So let me turn these ones on. You got heated steering wheel, auto hold, that's your parking brake. These are your cup holders. I've got my coffee cup in there. Now this is interesting because you see that flap there. So look at this one, right? How is that going to hold your cup? Very easy. If I press this button, look at that. Look how quickly it came out as well. That's kind of cool. I'll do that again. Pay attention. Whoa, check it out. And then you've got this compartment here as well. And then this armrest here. Now, what I was going to tell you about the interior of the car is that they have made a lot of use of sustainable materials. The headlining alone in this car is made from recycled wallpaper. Hey! And the seats are made from bio-PU with tencel from eucalyptus leaves. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it's environmentally friendly, and there's environmentally friendly paint on the door as well. That is really nicely done. Actually, I do like the trim on this. So it's sort of like a fake leather sort of thing. But anyway, bio leather, is that what they call it? This is the car, so you can see the spec. This is spec 2, 18-inch wheels, sunroof, which is that one there. LED lights, active safety, you got ABS, you got stability control, forward collision avoidance, pedestrian detection, hill start assist, intelligent speed limit, lane keeping assist, tire pressure monitoring, blind spot, parking collision avoidance, highway driving assist. It's got all of those things on here. Now, what you're thinking is this is 2, so this is 33,245 pounds for this model. So that's that one. So HEV4. Sorry, this is HEV4. But 2 is 27,000. So you could say about nearly $6,000 cheaper. This is 2, but it's the same engine and everything. But it's pretty well equipped too. I mean, it's got a lot of the same safety systems on there as well. 16-inch wheels, so maybe the ride might be a little bit better, but you know, it's still got 4.2-inch Supervision display, cluster, 8-inch touchscreen, 6-speaker audio system. So is that the same as on the other one? Let's just have a look. No, this one is bigger. So this is a 10.25-inch color display, 10.52-inch touchscreen display, head-up display. Oh, it's got heads up. Yes, it does. That's full color, and it doesn't say how many speakers it's got, but probably quite a lot. You know what? It's fantastic. The interior on these is just, I mean, look at this here. And let me just open the door because I just want to show you this. I don't know if you can make that out, but it's kind of like a marble effect on this. And it's really, really cool. Anyway, I like this. Really nice. Let's take it for a drive. Okay, so here we go. It's quite a meaty sounding engine actually. You can't hear it very loudly, but just as I pulled out of that, this literally is my first time driving this car, and as I pulled out of there, I just heard the sound. I was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." So I feel like I'm sitting quite tall in this. I put it down a little bit, you know, maybe just a little bit. It's fine. That's not too bad. But maybe that's the idea. You know, you're sitting upright, you're sitting quite tall. It's that sort of car, isn't it? Yeah, there's that noise again. It's a keen sounding engine, and actually the keenness translates into momentum as well, because actually the performance, you know, it's one of those things where on paper you read the performance because you go, oh, that doesn't sound like much, but actually when you're in the car and you're driving and you're in the real world, it's a completely different scenario. And in this case, that's why I would say, you know, you're not really losing out anything in terms of performance at all. Okay, a few things are going to move around. Apologies for that. Now, I've paired my phone, so now if you're seeing the screen, what you're seeing actually is my phone on there now, because I'm using the navigation from my phone in this particular case. But from what I've seen, that's all pretty straightforward and easy to use. It says mode here, but what is the mode for? Oh no, that's just that. Okay, now I need to go back into CarPlay now. How do I do that? Ah, here we go. That's handy. Right, so I got to turn down there. That's just in time to know that I had to make that turning. So that's quite good. I mean, you see, this is one of the key things about cars and about the infotainment systems. It's a good test. It's like if you can get in the car and it's relatively intuitive to figure out how it all works and which button should be pressing and stuff like that, then it's a well set up system. And I think that is self-evident just from what I had to do there, is that, yeah, they have actually put some thought into this, and this is, you know, already an intuitive system that's fairly easy to get to grapple with and to understand how it works. The display ahead is very clear, very clean. On the right side, it gives you the speed on the left side, but I'm also getting the speed in the heads-up display as well. But on the right side, it's giving you the information. So it's telling you if it's charging the battery, whether it's running in EV mode, and it just flicked into EV mode there. whether you're driving economically, and when you go full power, it then flips right over into the power side. In the middle, you got driver information, and I think there's loads of other. Yeah, you got compass, tire pressure, driver assist systems, and all the rest of it. That's all there. Drive mode. There's a button here. Oh my goodness. So there's a driver. Not that it didn't make it. You probably got from that the impression that I felt it to be different. No, it's just that the dials completely changed, and now I've got a rev counter on the right compared to the there's basically two modes. There's eco mode and there's sports mode, and by pressing the button, what happened, the reason I went whoa, reason for the exclamation was the instrument dial, or the instrument display, changed completely, and it went from a very straightforward, very eco-friendly, here's the information you need, here's how you should be driving, taking it easy, and I pressed the drive mode and it just went super sporty. You know, it turned into like an analog type of grill. I'll try and put an inset later on so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, the display changed completely. I wouldn't say that it made much difference to how it drove, but then, you know, I was very, very slow at the time as well. So I'm going to put it back into basically eco mode. And now the ride so far has been very good. Now, one of the things I always say about hybrids, of course, this has been designed to be this car. It's designed to be an EV and to be a hybrid and all the rest of it. So that is, you know, less compromise, I guess, when you're in that sort of scenario. But the ride so far, it doesn't have the harshness that some hybrids and EVs have. It's very smooth, and again, this is on the bigger wheels slightly because it's a high spec car, but it's very smooth, and it's also very, very quiet as well. But there's a little bit of road roar, but other than that, it's very quiet, very serene, very relaxing, as I suppose it should be, really. But the ride itself is very good. The cool seats are doing their job, and that's very nice. The steering weighting is good. I mean, it's not too light. Obviously not heavy, shouldn't be heavy for a car of this nature. No, I mean, it's a very consistent, very smooth delivery of power, so no real drama or anything like that. But then, you know, it's in eco mode. Okay, so now we're going into the black stripes, and in normal, there's still in eco mode, and it's really struggling to. I've seen the needle go right over into power, but it kind of struggled a little bit to accelerate there. I'm going to slow it up a bit. And on the throttle, change it. Oh, okay, yeah. Now, so changing it up into sport. Now I felt the difference. The throttle response suddenly improved there, and actually now it's the throttle response is much more eager than it was before. The performance has just upped its game a little bit. That's what it's doing. No difference to the ride or anything like that I can detect. Has the steering weighted up a bit? I feel that it has. Actually. Yeah, I'm not 100% on that, but I feel that it has a little bit weighted up. Nice to place, actually. Good size, even for these little roads these little B roads that we're on now. The braking is very consistent, exactly as you'd expect it to be. Not too bitey, but, you know, enough to slow you down. So quite progressive in that sense. The steering is fairly accurate, you know, so no issues whatsoever with placing the car, and no issues with, having confidence in the steering either. Turning in on the braking, not an issue at all. Wow, so a bit of kick down there. Pretty good, we're picking up speed quite nicely now. And a little bit of wind noise, but no issue whatsoever. Still very refined. I mean, it's just, you know, extraordinary, isn't it, when you talk about Kias and then the quality that you're experiencing, both in terms of the interior, in terms of where you're sitting, in terms of all the kit that you've got, in terms of all the safety features that you've got, but also in terms of the refinement of the drive. It's quite extraordinary. Make no mistake, this is not geared up to be a sports car in any sense whatsoever. This is definitely geared up to be, you know, a comfortable, practical family car. And as we've already seen from the space and the comfort in the rear and in the front, that's clearly its forte. But the idea here is to see that, well, you know, if you are out here on roads like this, how does it perform? And so far, it's not disappointing. So we're enjoying a little bit of momentum now with the car, and encountered a few nasty bumps and stuff, but to be honest, like, it really smothers them. It does a really good job of that. You can hear it, you can kind of feel it, but actually it mutes it quite a lot, and it smothers, it dampens it quite a lot. So again, kudos for the ride. really set up for comfort. Still in sports mode because obviously we're on some nice roads at the moment, and it's keeping that momentum very, very well indeed. So it's doing quite well on these roads, I mean, we're into some tight corners now a little bit, and no hint of anything like understeer or anything like that. It's fairly neutral, feels like, so far. I mean, again, I haven't attacked any tight corners, but then it's not the sort of car that you would do that in, really, is it? But generally on these sort of roads and what it's doing here, it's pretty good. Okay, so I've just gone into the hybrid. I thought, okay, that's immediately a little bit punchier. I thought now that I'm here and the hybrid, the plug-in hybrid is also available. So now this is the plug-in hybrid. I thought I'll give this a little bit of a go as well, just a short run to see what it's like. I might use the flappy paddles as well this time. I did try them with the other car as well for a bit, although off camera. And what I found was that whilst they were good, they were responsive, there wasn't any particular advantage in using them. The gearbox or by its own was pretty much doing what you needed to do, kick down when you wanted it to, and it changed when you wanted to. And whilst you could have a little bit of fun from trying to change gear yourself, but it didn't have a great advantage. But we might try a little bit on this one as well, just to demonstrate to you. Now, this one, as I said, is a little bit more powerful. Not a huge amount of difference. I think there's about a second difference in terms of acceleration, the 0 to 60 benchmark. And of course, it does the plug-in thing. The plug-in hybrids are great, for example, if you have a home where you have a drive or you have a facility where you can plug your car into a charger. So if you can keep your car plugged in, and most of your journeys are short commutes around town and stuff like that, don't forget you've got nearly 40 miles of range on EV alone, which means theoretically you could go for quite a while without actually ever using the fuel in the car at all, and you would only actually use that for when you set off on a longer journey or something like that. So by and large, you'd pretty much be running it as an EV the whole time, and in that sense it's really good. So let me put it under load, give it some acceleration. Yeah, oh, okay, yes. So in fact, it is running on EV. I turned the engine on, now the engine's turned off again. Okay, so the green EV symbol on the top right corner, just next to that right dial, is what's telling you whether or not you're running it as an EV. So that's pretty handy. So there you know that you're going to be saving fuel with a car like this. So let's punch it up a little bit, and in fact, let's use the paddle shifts. Oh, I see. Maybe this one does. Oh, I see. This is not. Ah, okay, right. So like EVs, I think I figured this out. So like most EVs, the paddles on this don't operate the gears. What they do is they operate, or they select the level of regen, which of course also means the one pedal mode. So you go minus, I got maximum. So now I'm lifting off the accelerator. I'm pretty much decelerating. I'm coming to a complete halt. And if I kick it up on the right pedal and I lift off, it's now coasting. Okay, now I can see it now. I can see where there's a display at the bottom right. Okay, so that's interesting. So in sports mode, the pedals aren't doing anything. And then the engine is kicked in. The engine is definitely kicked in sports mode. So the paddles aren't doing anything. So that's interesting, isn't it? So the paddles in this have a completely different function to the paddles in the hybrid. Point to note. So there you go. We've driven both the Kia Niro hybrid and the plug-in hybrid. So which one of the two would I get? Well, again, like I said, it's down to your circumstances. If you can charge at home, get the plug-in. It's no brainer because you can save so much in fuel. Why would you not do that? If you can't charge at home, then get the hybrid, because, and I've experienced it in the real world, if you have a plug-in hybrid, it's a bit tedious and annoying to have to find a public charger to go and charge it for the sake of 30 or 40 miles. It just doesn't seem worth it. But yes, if you have a situation where you can plug in at home, then by all means, the plug-in is the way to go. So overall, what about the Kia Niro? I think they've just leveled it up, I mean, not for nothing is it the second best-selling car. I think that in Europe, this is the third best-selling car for Kia. I think that might well bump up to second, because it's just an all-round good, versatile, family-friendly car that's practical. But the main thing about it is the level of quality and the level of refinement, how they've just upped all of that, and just it's just a nice place to be now. That's the main thing about them. So yeah, Big thumbs up for the Kia Niro. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and I'll see you soon in the next video.
A big shout out and thanks to Jay Williams over at Air Technic, who are top tier sponsors of Brown Car Guy. Check them out at Air Technic Co UK for exhausts, brakes, suspension and body kits. Plus our other major sponsor, Nayagen Solutions. Much appreciation also to tier 4 sponsors, Muhammad Ali Humaid, Tom Conway Gordon and Reza Adil. And of course all these other guys who supporting on Patreon. Brown Car Guy is eternally grateful. Hey, think about joining them over at Patreon.com Brown Car Guy. If you can't, don't worry. Just make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel and website. Plus follow on social media by searching for Brown Car Guy.